Hormones are chemical substances that are produced by a gland, they're carried by the blood, and when they get to a specific organ, which we call a target organ, they will carry out a certain activity or instruct that organ to perform a certain activity within the body. So hormones are made in one place, travel in the blood, and they affect another place. Okay, so all hormones come from what we call the endocrine system, and that is made up of endocrine glands. So all hormones are produced by glands, okay, and those glands are what we call ductless glands. So you get glands that have duct, meaning they release a fluid down a duct into a specific area, or you have a gland that is ductless and it releases the substances straight into the bloodstream, okay, which is how our hormones work. So now a hormone response is much slower than the nervous system response, okay, because a nerve impulse is incredibly fast and it would have an immediate effect, whereas a hormone is released slow and it has to travel in the blood from one place to another. So it's usually much slower, but also much more long-lasting. Okay, so the endocrine system releases those hormones, and they last much longer than a quick nerve impulse. So if we look at the endocrine system, okay, so this is the endocrine system. In the body, okay, we have specific glands all the way through the body that we consider our endocrine glands, and those would all release different hormones. So if we go and label all of our glands, okay, so starting at the top in the brain, in the middle of the brain we have the hypothalamus, okay, and that is a gland that releases a hormone called ADH that helps us for controlling the amount of water in our body. Then we also have the pituitary gland. Now we've come across the pituitary gland again before when we were dealing with reproduction, because the pituitary gland, it releases the FSH and the LH that we used in explaining the menstrual cycle, okay, but it also produces hormones called growth hormone and thyroid stimulating hormone, which growth hormone, as it says in its name, is for growth, and thyroid stimulating hormone stimulates the thyroid. Okay, so the pituitary gland makes a lot of different hormones that act in lots of different places. Then the next one we have is the thyroid. Now the thyroid gland, it secretes a hormone called thyroxine, and thyroxine controls your metabolic rate. Okay, so it controls how fast or how slow you are going to metabolize something, okay, and use and break it down for cellular respiration, okay, to get the energy, and when it's not used, then it gets stored as fats, okay. And then moving further down the body, on the top of the kidneys, outside, we have the adrenal glands. Now the adrenal glands are important for the production of adrenaline. So adrenaline is your fight or flight hormone, okay, that has a response if you get a fright or if you're in a dangerous situation. You release adrenaline, and adrenaline has a number of effects on the body, starting with it increases your heart rate, it raises the blood pressure, it stimulates the release of more glucose so that you would have more energy, your pupils will dilate, okay, it increases the cardiac blood supply to all of the muscles, okay, as well as your breathing rate, and it restricts all the blood vessels to non-essential parts such as the digestive system organs, because it diverts the blood to where you would need, for example, in your muscles to run away or things like that. So adrenaline has a huge amount of impact on lots of different organs, okay, and is released, like I said, when you get a fright or something like that, okay. And then you have the ovaries, which releases estrogen and progesterone, or the testes, which releases testosterone. And then the last one would be the pancreas. And specifically in the pancreas, there are specific little types of cells which we call the islets of Langerhans. And the pancreas islets of Langerhans are there to secrete insulin and glucagon. So now insulin is your hormone to reduce your blood sugar level. So it tells your body to take glucose and store it and reduce the amount of sugar in your blood. And glucagon does the opposite, and it tells your body to take all that stored glucose and break it down and turn it back into glucose so that we have a higher blood sugar that we're going to use. So the pancreas is very important for maintaining that blood sugar, which we are going to look at when we do homeostasis next. So those are all your different endocrine glands, and each of those endocrine glands produces a different hormone that you just need to know the basic function of.